Good afternoon, Edgecombe. This is your host, Nyreke Peters, on another episode of Let's Talk Edgecombe. Today, I'm joined by County Manager Eric Evans, as well as Michael Williams and Carisa Rudd. Would you two like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Carisa Rudd. I'm Business Services Manager for Turning Point Workforce Development Board.
Hello, and I'm Michael Williams. I'm the Director of Turning Point Workforce Development Board.
Great, and thank you so much for allowing us to be here in your office today to talk a little bit about what you guys do here at Turning Point. So to just jump in, would you guys mind just talking broadly about the organization and what services and programs that you offer?
Great, I'll be happy to. We are the local Workforce Development Board. We cover 5 counties: Edgecombe, Nash, Halifax, Northampton, and Wilson counties. And our job is really to work with our adults, dislocated workers, and youth programs to provide opportunities and resources. We're also working with a consortium on opiate opportunities where it affects our employers. It affects our job seekers. Not only that, but healthcare sector partnerships. We're working with our healthcare facilities and making sure that we're hearing their needs. And what can we do to provide resources? If nothing else, just have roundtables to talk about the stress of the work in healthcare. What can we do to provide some type of relief? Also, we work with reentry programs. So anything that is going to be a major effect that we can help our youth and our adults get back into employment.
So, getting to kind of the hot topic, so to say, QVC. I'm curious as to what kind of efforts have you guys, put forward to try to address the high number of unemployed people following that untimely fire?
Well, one thing that we did, the first thing that we did was reach out to our NC Works Career Centers. We have a rapid response team. And so once the employer is affected, and this one was actually, a tragedy. We didn't have much lead time like we normally do for an employer that might be laying off or closing. So I gathered our team from all 5 counties. We reached out to employers that we knew had several openings that might fit with the skills at this employer. And we came together virtually. We also ended up meeting in person to kind of see what jobs are out there and how we can quickly, transition a lot of these folks. One of the things that I had to do was stay in touch with QVC in the Pennsylvania location. So there are some management level folks there that we had to stay in touch with to properly transition these folks. So we pulled in career center managers, our business engagement team, just to kind of make sure that we had this laid out. I mean, as far as job fairs, everything we could think of, supplies, resources, chambers, anyone we could think of to kind of get the ball rolling.
Yeah, and I'm curious, how much is this a priority for your organization?
I would say it's top of our priority. Our mission is actually to provide a workforce that answers the demands of a transforming knowledge and skills-driven economy. In other words, our job is actually to help match job seekers with employers who have workforce development needs. So it actually falls right into the top of our priorities.
Could you talk a little bit about the attitude on the ground? Are people getting hired?
Yes, we have over 100 people so far employees have reported on. So we're waiting to kind of get the final numbers on that. But we held several job fairs, virtual fairs, 2 large-scale in-person fairs, one in our region and one in our neighboring region. And so we've had hundreds of people to already get jobs. But the feedback has been really positive. We haven't had one negative comment from any QVC dislocated worker. They were thankful. They even told us they were grateful. They told us they couldn't believe that we were here to help them. A couple of people gave some testimonies, and it was heartwarming to hear them. And we got a chance to see these people, hundreds of them, at an in-person event, and they were just really grateful. So it's been positive the entire time for the last few months.
I imagine there's somewhat of an emotional undertaking that comes with this work.
It is.
Could you just talk a little bit about that? I imagine it's really important, and sometimes you're probably frustrated that you can't help these people
Right.
So.
Well, for me, it becomes personal. We have to be careful about this type of work. You have to try not to take things personal. But you do. It really bothers you, and I know it does for them too. When this happened, and we saw the pictures, we saw all the video footage and things going on. And a lot of people, these are people we know. There were a lot of late nights with us talking, sometimes 11 o'clock at night. But it bothered us a lot. I know with our team, we've had a couple of people to tell us that it really, really touched them. So we just wanted the best for these QVC folks, because a lot of them, these are families, a lot of families, and now we're on the other side of it. Yes. I mean, there are a lot of people that are still unemployed right now, but some of them want to build up skills. So, and some of them are already employed. So we're happy about that, but it still touched us because it was just a really hard thing to witness.
Yeah. And I just want to add to that, on a personal side of this, I'm a product of this program or these resources.
Right.
Actually, years and years ago, I had the opportunity to work on the summer. I think Mr. Evans, I'm not sure if you had the opportunity too, but this is a great resource for our region, and you can't help but it become personal. Like you say, some of these people who are actually working in these centers or who's working at the employers or the businesses that are affected by these situations. So this gives us the opportunity to actually provide back or to give back. It's all about the job seeker and the employers building this region.
And Nyreke, if I could add, I think one of the important things I want, our listeners to understand and appreciate about our folks here, our friends here at Turning Point, is that, their work is not just about the bureaucratic logistics of what they do.
That's right.
There is that, but there is also the passion that they have to help people, outside of QVC every day before QVC Fire ever took place. Their passion for wanting to help connect with job seekers and employers to make that match. And so, they have a heart for it. It's not just this, technical skill, but they have a heart for it. And, when the fire happened December 18th, while I was still standing out there on, at the facility, and there were still fire trucks pouring water on this building that still had flames coming out of it, I had a conversation with both Michael and Carisa about, hey, look, these, this fire is one thing, but these folks is a totally different thing.
That's right.
And they're going to need help. And immediately, both of them just put all of that work into motion that very day and started making phone calls from here all the way up to their state partners to get those wheels turning. So this is an amazing undertaking, as Carisa said, that normally a company is going to lay off 2,000 folks.
Right.
It's coming down the road, and in advance.
Right.
This was a tragic fire, and it just happened overnight like that. And so there's no, there's not the normal ramp up time that they normally have, and they sprang into action. I've just been so impressed by the work that they've done.
And that speaks to the leadership of Edgecombe County.
That's right.
And the trust that they have in the work that we provide. So we are so appreciative of that relationship, which made the process a seamless process.
It sure did.
What kind of advice do you offer to a person that is struggling to find a job, find work, and they don't really know the next step?
I would say to especially those that are with QVC, don't wait. If you're knowing that you're going to want employment opportunities or training resources, take advantage of it now. Come into your local NC Works Career Centers. Go ahead and register on NC Works. Make sure that you're learning more and more about the resources that are available. We are here to serve.
Well, before we end, I'm curious, are there any upcoming events or something like that you want to flag, let people know about?
Well, again, there's a lot going on, and I know Carisa probably can share more about opportunities that we're going to continue because we know that this is a journey for those that went through the QVC process. But again, we want you to come in. We want those that are affected, their families, to take advantage of these resources. We know that there are some state summits that's coming up that we're going to be doing some things with our youth that are in our programs. Our Careers NC Works Partnership Conference is coming up. But locally, we're going to continue to work for our 5 counties and the citizens and the employers that are in our region.
Right, and there are some employers that are going to hold some, some targeted job fairs just for their organizations coming up. But for QVC, we held some things January, February, and we tentatively planned something for March 18th, but it's virtual. We've been having a lot of success with the virtual fairs, so we have one tentatively scheduled for March 18th. But we'll kind of see how it goes for the next few days, because having a lower number at the last one that we had, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, because a lot of people have gone to work. Yeah, so that's what we want. We want that number to go down for the QVC folks. It means they're going back for some training, or they're already employed again. But we have that coming up. And then we have some employers that have already reached out to us to let us know that they're interested in not just that one, but they want to hold something separate. So we have some that have already signed up to go into the Career Center to hold a small fair just for there. So we'll be putting that out there for everyone to see on our social media and our website. And we'll be sharing it with our county manager's office and just letting everyone know about that.
And what's your social media and website?
Yes, I'll let Carisa do that.
TurningPointWDB.org.
Okay.
And they can find us on Facebook by searching for Turning Point Workforce Development Board.
All right. Well, I think that sums up pretty much everything today. Once again, I want to thank both Mr. Michael Williams and Ms. Carisa Rudd for being here and, for allowing us to be here, to have our podcast in your office. And make sure you tune in next month where me and Mr. Evans sit down and talk Edgecombe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.